Level 2, more secrets of the magic deck. Here is something you probably didn't notice. The cards are marked on the back. Take a look at the center of the back design. Now compare the center of one of the force cards, in my case the Ten of Hearts, with the same on an indifferent card. As you can see on this giant reproduction of the backs of the cards, the forced cards are darker in shade in the center. These ones are lighter. This means that just by looking at the back of the card, you can tell whether it is a force card or not. This is very useful for keeping track of the cards and making sure that the spectator has your force card, or that the force card is on top of the deck when you need it there. It's a security measure, but as you will see, it is also invaluable aid in some of the effects. Let me demonstrate how easy it might be for you to separate force cards from indifferent cards. So, let's genuinely mix some of these cards, and we'll disturb the normal order of short card, long card, short card, long card, and now I can clearly make two different piles with these cards. I can look at this and say this is a indifferent card, this is a force card, indifferent card, indifferent card, indifferent card, this is a force card, also force, force, this is indifferent, force, indifferent, indifferent, force, force, indifferent, force, indifferent, and force. And only by glimpsing at the back of the cards and by noticing the darker shade in the center and the lighter shade in the center of the indifferent cards, I know that all of these are the force card and all of these are indifferent cards. Level 2 techniques. Cut up, cut down. You can cut the deck in the hands like this. Fingers and thumb on the short ends of the deck. As you already know, this will result in the force card becoming the top card of the deck. But there is another way to cut the cards. Instead of lifting up with the thumb, as you do normally, you push down. When you do that, you get an indifferent card on top of the deck, and the force card will be at the bottom of the deck. Let me do it a few times so it is clear. Pull up with the thumb, and the force card will be on top. Push down with the thumb, and on the top you will have an indifferent card because the force card is now on the bottom. And this is the cut up, cut down technique. Level 2 techniques. Table spread force. This is a very clever force. You spread the deck across the table and ask the spectator to pull out any card. That card will be the force card. Let me demonstrate. You spread the deck, spectator picks up a card, and it is the force card. Here is how it works. It is very similar to the dribble force. The action is the same, except instead of dribbling the cards from one hand to the other, you dribble them in a line across the table. The deck is held at the short ends, fingers on one side, thumb on the other, and the curled forefinger applying a little bit of pressure, like this. The cards drop in pairs on the table. As they drop, you move your hand across the table. The top card of every pair is a force card. And if you ask someone to reach in and take a card, they will almost invariably take a force card. There is a knack to doing the move, but with a little practice you will be able to do it very smoothly and naturally. Let me demonstrate the same technique but with this other deck, where all the force cards are red on the back, so we can clearly see where they are. In this case we are talking about a force card that is the 8 of spades, so every red is 8 of spades, and every blue is an indifferent card. When you dribble across the table in a line, you realize that only the red cards are visible. Therefore, wherever card you pick is going to be a force card. And when they take it, not only they can check it's correct, but also you will never see the difference in color, because this is just for you to have a better look at the table spread force. Level 2 techniques. Table spread turnover. If you are working on a cloth-covered table, there is another interesting thing you can do with the table spread. Watch. Start by spreading the cards and then flip the spread over like this. And all you see are the different cards. It takes a little more care to do this. I'll show you again. Start by dribbling the cards across the table. Lift them up at this end and carefully flip the cards as your other hand waits for them to land. Now, this is done in a quick, casual way. At a glance, you see all the cards are different. Of course, if you would stop here, people would start looking very, very close. Oh, there's a 10 of hearts here, and and there's another one here and another one here. But of course, you don't stop in this situation. What you want to transmit is that you spread the cards, you collect them, and you proceed. Level 2 techniques. Riffle shuffle. Believe it or not, you can riffle shuffle the magic deck, and yet keep the cards in force card indifferent card order. Watch. It looks like a regular riffle shuffle. I'll shuffle it again. And yet, if I spread the cards, you can see that they are still in alternating order, and every second card is actually a force card. Here is how to do it. Riffle off half of the deck and take it in the other hand. Grip off the ends of the cards with the fingers like this, and riffle the other ends of the cards together with the thumbs. The cards fall in pairs, and then squeeze the two halves of the deck together to finish the shuffle. Because the cards fall in pairs, the alternating order of the force cards and indifferent cards never changes. Every second card is a force card. You can shuffle this way as many times as you like, and if you are feeling fancy, you can finish with a flourish like this. That's a little more difficult to do than a simple riffle shuffle, but not as difficult as you think. Try it. Level 2 techniques. Double lift. The double lift is a move that enables you to perform some wonderful changes. Let's imagine you have a card selected, the 10 of hearts in my case. You cut the deck a few times, and then you ask the spectator if this is their card. They say no. You rub the card on the table, snap your fingers, and it becomes the chosen card. This is just one effect you can do with the double lift, and it works like this. As you know, even after cutting many times the magic deck, the force card will always be on top. Although it appears that you are just turning over the top card, actually, using the double lift, you'll be turning two cards as one. In order to do that, just hold the cards like this, and then with your thumb, try to pick the top card. It will be impossible to pick the top card because the top card is shorter. So inevitably, your thumb is going to catch the second card. And now you have your double lift. It's almost automatic. Now, slide both cards to the front. And then in order to turn it around and do not separate them and exposing the fact that they are two cards, turn it by holding it with three fingers, thumb on top and forefinger and third finger on the bottom, making a little bit of pressure. You turn it around and you put it on top of the deck, but with your little finger keeping a separation between these two cards that the audience think is just one and the rest of the pack. At this time is when you ask, is this your card? No, they will say. And with your right hand and the three same fingers you used before, you grab the card and you turn it over as if you're closing the pages of a book. And in the same motion, you grab only the top card, put it on the table, rub it, snap your fingers for magic effect or wherever you prefer, and you are ready to transform into the force card. Now, at regular speed, you cut the deck as many times as you want. You turn the top card over, actually two. You ask if this is the card. You kept the separation there. You turn it over and you put it on the table, rub, snap, and show it. That's a double lift, a slide that makes for an amazing change of one card into another. Find the card. Here we are again with one of the 5 plots that we'll be revisiting in each of the 3 levels. And the effect is similar to the one you learned on level 1. Although, because now we are aware of the center marks on the back of the cards, we can do a bigger miracle. So, spectator chooses a card by saying stop, force card, 10 of hearts. You lose the card in the deck, you do multiple cuts, you can even shuffle, and you announce that you'll be dealing the cards on the table, and whenever a spectator wants, he can call stop. So you start dealing one by one, but you realize that by looking at the backs of the cards, you know whether we are looking at an indifferent card or a force card. You see, the center, there's a darker shade than on the indifferent cards. So you proceed with the dealing, and the moment the spectator says stop, you are either on an indifferent card, which it's the case now, which means you finish putting it on the table and you reveal the next one as the chosen card being found. If, by luck, once you are placing cards on the table, the spectator says stop while you are holding a force card, nothing else to do. Just turn it over, and there is the force card, found the chosen card of the spectator. Well, due to these marks, you can now do something even more amazing, which is after losing the card, after cutting and shuffling, you can ask another spectator to hold the deck on his hands, and himself, this other spectator, can find the card of the first one, while another one says stop whenever he wants. So the only thing you need to be looking at is the center marks. So spectator puts cards on the table one by one, another spectator says stop, and in that moment you look at the card that the spectator has in his hand. If it is one with a darker shade, you conclude there and you show your big finale, ask him to turn it around, and yes, it's in fact the chosen card. If, on the other hand, he ends up with a lighter shade mark, you just ask him to, okay, yeah, put it on the table, and the next card, exactly where you said stop, it's the chosen card. There he is. So here we are revisiting a plot that now, because you are on level 2, you can make more amazing. Ambitious card. A famous plot that we introduced on level 1 and now we will revisit, but we'll do it 3 times more spectacular. Yes, because we'll be using 3 different cards and it will happen the same thing to the 3 different cards. You start by cutting the deck in 3 parts. On this second level, you are already familiar with the technique double lift. We'll be using it 2 times. Start by showing which card is on top of this pile. Actually, at this stage, we will do a double lift. To the front, show it. It's the 9 of hearts. Put it on top, grab it, apparently, and put it under the packet. Now explain that the only thing you need to do in order for the card to rise is to shake the packet. Once you shake it, the card comes to the top. As you show the card, bury it under the same packet we are using. Then place everything on top of the middle packet and offer to do the same thing. Now you will show the top card with double lift. It's the 3 of clubs. You take the 3 of clubs, which is not, and place it under the packet. Again, like before, you shake it and the 3 of clubs rises to the top. Once you show it well, you put it under the packet and put everything on top of the last packet in the table. Now you will show the top card, but you don't need a double lift. It's really the 10 of hearts, our 4th card. You say, on top of this packet is now the 10 of hearts. You turn it around, you push it to the front, and you can hold it in this way as you cut the top half. You can even show it one more time. Look, it's really the 10 of hearts. Place it on the table and now bury it with multiple cuts. A little packet and another one and another one. If you want, you can still show it one last time for the skeptics. Now, you put it aligned, squared with the deck, you shake it, and for the 3rd time, you have caused the card to rise in the pack. And this is ambitious card times 3. Akanami. Akanami stands for any card at any, and then the N from Akan level 1 is the beginning of the word name, Akanami, because this time people will give you names. I know it's not a great title, but you get the idea. So in Akanami, you'll ask the audience to give you names, names of persons, of cities or countries. And what you need to do is mentally calculate the number of letters that form that specific word, the word you ask and the word that the spectator will give you in order for you to find the card. Well, we have forced the card, and we know that every odd number is occupied by a force card. 1, 3, 5, 7, and so on till 51. And every even number is occupied by an indifferent card. So if you ask for a name of a person, someone might tell you David. Immediately in your mind you need to calculate the number of letters. In this case, David is 5. You need to do that at the same time that you continue your performance, that you talk to people or give instructions, and no one should see you as doing calculations like that. You just ask for a name and immediately you spell. And then that's when the magic happens. So because David has 5 letters, you will end up with a chosen card in your hand as you are dealing. So
D-A-V-I-D.
And that's the chosen card. If instead of a name you ask for a city, let's say Amsterdam. Well, it's a longer word, so it's good for you to practice. A longer word, Amsterdam, how many letters? 9. Again, it's an odd number, so same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You end up with the chosen card in your hand. There is a different outcome, or a slightly different twist, if the word people shout out has an even number of letters. Let's say a country. A country could be France. France has 6 letters. So as you spell it, you end up not with the chosen card, but with one of the indifferent cards. There's no problem, because you can spell it and then call attention to the packet and to the next card. So let's say F-R-A-N-C-E, France, the country that was just named. After that, you grab the card and you say, okay, you picked France, and immediately we could find the chosen card. And this is Akanami. Impossible location. Well, with this plot, there is no limits. You can use your imagination to make the duplicate card appear anywhere you want. Now imagine that if only being able to choose the place where you hide the card, you could choose many places. That would be fantastic. The only thing you need is to have, instead of one duplicate, several duplicates. As you know, the Magic deck is made of Phoenix cards. You can buy regular decks, as many as you want, from Card Shark online, and you find the duplicates that match your force card. Now imagine you are doing this at home, at the living room, but you have 10 or 12 different duplicates of the force card. You place them in impossible places, unexpected places throughout the room. One in that corner, another one in that corner, one on the ceiling, one behind you, and everywhere you can. And places that are that somehow define the area in the room, and it would be quite surprising to find a chosen card there. So what you do is, once you hide all the duplicates in the room, you get the card chosen. Yes, it's a forced card. By the methods that we have already explained, you ask the spectator to see if he can spot his card. He will say no, and then you will ask him to point anywhere in the room. He will point, and anywhere he points, you have an object nearby that area where you have a duplicate hidden. So now imagine what goes on in the mind of the spectator. They picked a card, it vanished from the deck and appeared in a place that another spectator pointed. That's really amazing. And that's as far as you can take the plot of Impossible Location. Pendulum. On this level 2, we will revisit the same effect that we have explained on level 1, but now we are taking it one step further, and it's quite amazing. To start with, let me talk to you about one of the secrets why pendulum workers are so successful. Thanks to the idiomotor action, you are actually able to control the movement of a pendulum without moving your hand. It's scientific, and you can try it for yourself. If you don't have a pendulum, you can put a nut at the end of a string. Basically, the idiomotor action justifies the following. If I think that this pendulum is moving in a circular way, it will start moving in a circular way. And I'm not even moving my hand. But yes, clear circles are made by the pendulum. If in a moment I start thinking that this pendulum is moving in a straight line without moving my hand, the pendulum will start moving in a straight line. And you can reverse the movement. Never move your hand, just think that the pendulum is moving in circles. And once again, it moves in circles. Try it for yourself, It's fascinating. Now, take this principle and use it with the magic deck. You have a card chosen. Spectator sees the card, memorize the card, 10 of hearts. You put it back, and you really shuffle the cards in any way possible, especially on the table, like if it was a domino. Okay? Now, by looking at the cards, you can clearly identify that this one is a force card, this one is an indifferent card, this one is a force card, indifferent, force, indifferent, force. So you have many options. Now you announce to your audience that thanks to the use of the pendulum, you'll be able to find the chosen card. And you can even explain that whenever the pendulum finds the card, it will start move in circles. So you start it very straight, very still. You can even stop it like this. And now you move around, waiting for the pendulum to manifest itself. Okay, clearly something is happening here. Yes. Okay, I think this will be the chosen card. Now separate all the cards around, make it for a nice display, and you believe this is the card. But thanks to the idiomotor action, you can even make the revelation in the hands of the spectator. So explain by telling the truth. Ask the spectator to hold the pendulum. Tell him to not make any move with his hand, but ask him to concentrate on the card, and he will start seeing that the pendulum describes circles. And imagine, this is happening on the spectator's hands. He will freak out, which is good, because now you are ready to demonstrate that yes, the pendulum works, and here is the chosen card. That's the pendulum. Transposition. Here is one of the several effects where we don't even need to ask for a chosen card. In this case, we will use secretly the technique double lift, which we just learned at the beginning of this level 2. Start by, after you cut a couple of times, start by showing the top card, double lift. You show it, it's the 6 of hearts. Turn it over and place the 6 of hearts under the box. Now, while you do this, you'll need to get ready for a second double lift, which, by the way, it's impossible if you do not get ready to it. Because now, here is a long card followed by a short card. So even if you want to grab 2 cards, there's no way. You will always grab only one. So, on the action of apparently placing the 6 of hearts under the box, you also can be preparing with your left hand by separating a little bit the top cards. You see 2 cards, and now from underneath you place your pinky under the 2 top cards, and then you square everything. Once you finish doing that, you are ready to come and push the 2 top cards and show it's, in this case, the 10 of hearts. So here we have the 6 of hearts, and the 10 of hearts we are going to hold at a distance. If I just do this, now here I have the 6 of hearts, because under the box is now the 10 of hearts. And that's transposition. Odd or even. Here is another effect where you don't even need to ask for a chosen card. It's a different demonstration. You tell your audience that you are so sensitive with your fingers that you are able to cut any number of cards, either if they are even or odd, depending on their request. So you can cut the deck, have the deck in your hands, and ask a spectator to tell you if they want even or odd. And if they say even, you just throw a bunch of cards over the table, and then you go to check. And yes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cards, even. You can do it immediately again. Just cut the deck so it's more clean, and you ask again. And let's imagine another spectator, you ask, okay, odd or even, and again they say even. Okay, you put a bunch of cards over the table and you count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, even again. Now, let's imagine someone asks for an odd number. Now, we need to be familiarized with a different technique called slip cut. And the slip cut consists on having your thumb always resting on top of the deck, whether you will retain or not the top card. So, if the audience calls even, the only thing you need to do is to cut. But instead of cutting a lot of cards, just cut some cards from the top. So you will end up with 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 max. And just by simply cutting, because you cut in pairs, it's going to be always an even number of cards. Now, let's imagine a spectator says odd. Well, your thumb is here. The only thing you need to do is, with your right thumb, you cut again a bunch of cards, but the left thumb is ready to retain the top card. In slow motion, it will be like this. And now if you count the cards, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 cards. An odd number, as the spectator just asked. So once again, and to reset, just extend the top card and put the packet under it like this. And everything is the same as before. So thumb always resting on top of the deck. You get ready, you even have a little bit of a pre-cut, so make it faster. And the moment they shout out odd or even, if it is even, you just go and it's done. If they say odd, you just go and you retain the top card. So like this would be even, but because you retain 1, it's now odd. Whatever number it is, it's odd. Now, you can repeat this with multiple spectators. Of course, if you could guarantee that all spectators are going to ask for even, it's easy, because this is even, this is even, this is even. Always, naturally, even comes out. It gets more complicated if they alternate even, even, odd, odd, even. But the only thing you need to keep in mind is that you always have an extra card to play with and to change from even to odd and otherwise. So in this case, let's say, first spectator says even. I take this packet. And yes, it's even. We don't need to check, but yes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's even. If the next spectator says odd, you will retain. And now, this is odd, which is okay. Let's just check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So when they ask you even, you just need to slip cut the top card, and this will be even. Let's check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Likewise, because you have the extra card here, if they ask you odd now, you simply cut. And this will be odd. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And in this case, you are back to normal. You already went through all the options, retaining a card or not retaining a card. It's a very good exercise, and at the beginning, you might want to do it with the card face up. So you always keep track where you have an extra card to the normal pairs, or if there is no extra card, and you just proceed as we started with. And this is odd or even or odd, level 2. Card stab. Here is a spectacular way of revealing the chosen card. As usual, spectator called out stop. He looked at the card. 10 of hearts. You lose the card in the deck. You can cut. You can shuffle. And you will introduce a different revelation for the chosen card. Deck is fully shuffled, and you will not be manipulating the deck in order to find the chosen card. Now, let me explain what will happen. In this condition, which is the normal order of the magic deck, every second card is the force card. If I take this knife and I introduce this knife anywhere in the deck, always the same thing will happen. The chosen card will be either on top of the knife or under the knife. Let's check in this situation. Was not on top, was under the knife. Now imagine doing this as the deck is rolled up in a piece of newspaper. Same thing, but spectacular. So, once you lost the card, once you cut and shuffled, and for the audience is obvious that the chosen card is lost, just proceed with taking a little piece of paper and rolling up the deck in this manner. The deck is inside the newspaper. You cannot control the cards. You cannot manipulate. Emphasize that. You have no access to the cards. And you will use the knife. You ask the spectator to concentrate on the chosen card, and then you just introduce the knife anywhere in the deck. Now, with the knife in this position, you start peeling the newspaper around so the audience can clearly see that you do not change the position of the knife. And in this situation, you ask the spectator what was the chosen card, and he will tell you 10 of hearts. Tell him that you had the feeling that you were stabbing exactly where his card was positioned. Now, start by removing the top half. At this point, by peeking or by simply displacing the knife a little bit, you can realize that, yes, it's a marked card. It's the force card. So either by casually looking at the card, you can say, oh, it's not this one. Put it aside, emphasize the position of the knife, and prepare yourself to the big revelation. Yes, you found the chosen card. And that's card stab. Four opportunities. That's how many opportunities you announce you'll have in order to find the chosen card. Spectator chose the card, memorized it, you have lost it in the deck, you cut, you shuffle, and you explain that you believe that with 4 opportunities you might be able to locate and identify the card that the spectator has just chosen. So, you start by the first opportunity. You cut anywhere, and actually you announce that you will show the top card once you complete the cut. That's not true. You'll be doing a double lift. So, grab the 2 top cards, push them to the front, reverse, show the 9 of hearts, and say, maybe your card was the 9 of hearts. You know it's not. You know it's the 10. Please do not tell me anything. This is just my first opportunity. And they think you are going wrong all the way. So you turn it and you leave it on the table. Let me go for the second opportunity. You cut again and another double lift. Maybe it was the 2 of diamonds. It was not. We know, but they don't know that we know. So we turn the card over and we put it on the table. Well, I already used 2 opportunities. Don't tell me anything. Let me cut again. Maybe your card was the Queen of Hearts. Don't tell me anything. And you leave it on the table. Of course, the audience by now thinks that you are failing miserably. But you said you'll use 4 opportunities. You already spoiled 3 of them, but you still have 1. This is the moment where you ask a spectator to help you out and ask a spectator to point to any of these 3 cards, which they believe, they are sure, all of them are wrong. No problem. Please point to any card, and let's say the spectator points to this one. Well, they all are 10 of hearts because you have been doing double lifts all the way through. You ask him, are you sure this one? Okay, because this was my last opportunity. So, what was your card? And they say, 10 of hearts, knowing that you got it wrong. But no, you promised 4 opportunities, and you succeed. You found the chosen card. And that's 4 opportunities. Smack the pack. It's a way of revealing the chosen card that involves the spectator, and it's quite dramatic. So the beginning is the same. A card has been chosen, 10 of hearts, you lose it in the deck, you cut, you shuffle, and there's one moment where you announce that you'll put the deck of cards inside the box. So first, have the box ready. Open it like this, and like that. So it will be easy to place the cards inside. Then, as you are holding the deck in your left hand, of course, after any cut or shuffle, the 4th card finishes on top. So, because the 4th card on top is shorter, it's easy for you in the action that you announce you are going to do, which is putting the deck inside the box, but it's easy for you from the back to realize that here the box can go under the top card. It's very easy to do this because the card is shorter, so you just point there and it gets out. Now, of course, the audience cannot see this, and the best is to hold the deck like this with the little finger on the bottom, because while the card, the top one, will slide on the box on the outside, these fingers will prevent it to be seen. So you take the deck and you place it inside the box, but as I'm saying, you do this. Now it completes and you go inside. You can even show it, because for the audience it looks like the entire deck is inside the box. It's not. The top card was left out. But from the front, it looks like this. Now you close the box and you close this all the way. You grab the pack like this with your left hand, and with the right hand you put the deck horizontally and you hold it like that. Thumb on top, fingers on the bottom. From the top, the audience cannot see the card that is out. You hold it like this, and now you invite the spectators to smack the pack strongly on this area. And usually the spectator will comply if you tell him to smack it strongly, and they will do this. And the card is out. You find the chosen card with the help of another spectator. That's smack the pack. Escape card. A bit like smack the pack, but not as violent and equally dramatic. You have a card chosen, it's lost in the deck, you cut multiple times, you shuffle, and as always, on the top, there will be a 4th card. So you announce that you will place the entire pack of cards inside the box. And again, like in Smack the Pack, you open it widely, like this, so it's ready to do the secret move. And you already know the secret move because the top card is shorter. on the action of saying, oh, I'm going to place the deck inside the box, actually the top card stays out and the fingers hold the box like this, so the card doesn't move or show in any of the corners. You place the deck inside, you close the box, but you will close it even more because you will use rubber bands. And notice that I can hold the box like this and transfer it from hand to hand, that there's no problem. The card is on the back, but as long as I hold it firmly, it's just a normal deck. And they just saw me putting the complete deck of cards inside the box. So you transfer it to the left hand and you grab one of the rubber bands and you place it like this. Now you are even more relaxed holding the box because you can add more moves and the card will never fall. You put the first rubber band and you'll put a second rubber band like this and like that. For the audience, these represent impossible conditions under which we cannot remove any card, let alone the chosen card. Now, from here, you can leave the deck on top of the table, you can pick it up, never show the back because the card is now out and it's squared with the box, but you can leave it there. And now there's a number of things you can do. You can take the deck as such and place it inside your pocket. Once inside the pocket, you come out with your hands and you say, look, I have nothing, I'm going to reach inside the pocket, and while the package is inside the pocket, you just remove the card that is here, place it on the table, remove it, and the rubber bands are untouched. That's one possibility. To take this possibility one step further would be to place this in the pocket of a spectator, not your pocket, spectator's pocket. Another way would be to have the package, like so, covered by a silk. And then you reach in with your hand under the silk and remove the chosen card. And a final way would be to announce that the pack is impossible to touch and no cards can fall, you cannot remove any card, and still you just need to do this and you find the chosen card. That's it. That's the escape card. Detective card, which is more like a fancy way to reveal the location of the chosen card. The usual choice: memorize the card, lose it in the deck, cut, and of course, because you can, you should always shuffle. You just learned that technique on level 2. You can shuffle, you can even use this subtlety showing that the cards are really shuffled together and clearly the chosen card has been lost. You can cut and complete the cut. Now, you tell the audience that you'll use this card to find the chosen card. The only thing you need to do is to use one of the indifferent cards and place it from the back, from the inner side of the deck of cards, and with the deck closed together, you just introduce it between two long cards. Naturally, it will hit the short card, and progressively it will push one of the forced cards to the front. Now do it really slow as the detective card goes in and the forced card comes out. Leave a little bit at the end and now say, oh, it's going well, and now you do the final push. Yes, it's the chosen card. And that's the detective card. Bullseye. Another way to find the chosen card. It involves a little bit of skill, but it's quite spectacular. So once you have the card chosen, lost in the deck, multiple cuts, shuffles, you place the deck on the table and you reinforce the idea that probably, because you feel it, the chosen card must be somewhere in the middle, but not exactly. You don't exactly know what's the location, but you can use another card to find the chosen card. Leave the deck on the table and prepare yourself to riffle while holding this side of the deck firm against the table. Riffle this side of the deck, like this. As usual, the thumb is releasing pairs of cards, not individual cards. This allows you to take the card, this one, any indifferent card, and while you are doing this, you just shoot the card in the middle of the deck. And hopefully, it will land on top of one of the forced cards. The chosen card. You got it. That's bullseye. Try it. It will always work. Transformer. It's a way of leading the audience to think that you got it wrong, and still, last minute, you find the chosen card. So the card has been chosen, lost in the deck through cuts and shuffles, and you announce that you will cut the deck exactly at the chosen card. You cut, you show, and you say, 6 of hearts. The audience will say, it's not the card, it's not the card. And you say, well, but it still is the 6 of hearts, and it's the 6 of hearts. Now, trying to recover in a way, you drop one card on top of the half deck that is on your left hand, but you drop it a little bit out-jogged, pushed to the front, like this. Now, instead of one card, of course, 2 cards drop, which is the 6 of hearts plus the corresponding short card on top of it, that is the 10 of hearts. You say, are you sure it was not the 6 of hearts? And they say, yeah, I'm sure. And you, with your forefinger, you recover the card as you turn the hand. You place it on the table, and now you say, well, if it was not the 6 of hearts, maybe it was the 10 of hearts? That's Transformer. Informer, a routine I first saw being performed by Mr. Pearl from South Korea. It's a routine that involves 2 spectators, and it's quite puzzling. You start by asking one of them to call out stop. At that point, you give him one card and the following one to the other spectator. At this moment, you ask them to look at the cards and to memorize the cards. Of course, we know that this will be a force card, and this other one will be an indifferent card. In this case of my magic deck, being the 10 of hearts, and this one, I don't know, but is the 7 of diamonds. They choose the cards, they memorize the cards, and now it comes the moment to return them to the deck. You just need to cut anywhere you want. Yes, you cut anywhere, close it to the middle, and you ask the first spectator to return his card first and put it on top of the bottom half. What this accomplishes is to unite 2 force cards. So 2 short cards, 2 10 of hearts. Now the 2 short cards together become a key card. On top of this, you will now ask the second spectator to place his chosen card, and you lose them in the middle of the deck. You can cut, complete the cut, you can do it several times, and due to the fact that the 2 force cards are together, as you riffle through the deck, you'll know exactly where they are. Can you hear? And there we are. At this point, you just need to cut and complete. By doing that at this moment, you are bringing the second selected card to the bottom. And the two forced cards together are now on top. Now hold the deck with your right hand and prepare yourself to do a swing cut, which is using the forefinger. You cut the top half of the pack and you swing it to the left. The left hand receives the top part, leaves the thumb here now, getting ready for the revelation of the second chosen card, and as you place this half on top of the thumb, you are almost ready to a surprising revelation. You put it here, and now simply by moving your thumb and bringing it to the top of the pack, you will reveal in a fancy way the second chosen card. Look. Here it is. Was this your card? They will say yes. Now, this trick is called the informer. So you take, in this case, the 7 of diamonds, and you say that this card informs you that you need to count 7 cards down in the deck. And you start counting in order to find the second card. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You see it is a dark shade center on this back design, and there's a lighter shade in the center of this other card. So we know this is the chosen card. This is one of the forced cards. Yes. If for some reason with the number that got revealed you ended up with this card in your hand, let's imagine this was on the 7th position, you do the same thing. You count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and you will end up with this, and then you show it, and it's the chosen card. And this way you found the 2 freely chosen cards for each of the spectators, and that's the informer.